वतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Matre Namaha. Namaste everyone. In today's session we are going to review the Nama Sarvaruna. Until now, Vasinyadi Vak Devatas has been describing each part of Sri Lalitambika in the Keshadi Paadha Varnana, from Kesham Adi to Padam, from head to toe. We have reviewed all the namas thus far from head to toe. We have four more namas in the series that summarizes the total form, the Sampurna Sthula Rupam of Ambal that Devi has taken out of great kindness to protect us. So, of the four namas in the last session, we saw Mahalavanya Sevati. Ambal has the greatest lavanyam that there is. She is the highest truth, hence she is the most beautiful. Now, this nama is Sarvaruna. This nama is going to be about Ambal's color, Varnam, as red color, Aruna Varnam. So let's review this nama. Let's first look at the components in this nama. Sarvam. Sarvam means everything. Arunam. Arunam means Aruna Varnam, the red color. The red color is like the sunrise orange red color which we see at dawn. That is Sarva Arunam. Arunam, the reddish color of the sunrise. So this Nama says Sarva Arunam. Sri Lalitambika is everywhere. Sarvam Arunam. Everywhere and in everything as red color. So in this session, we will immerse in this Aruna Varnam and recite the very many ways our Purvacharyas have worshipped on this Aruna Varnam. Sarvam Arunam. So Arunam is not just a red color, but Aruna Varnam is an important aspect of Devi Upasana that is why Vasinyadi Vak Devatas are worshipping this Nama as Sarvaruna. Now, Shri Lalitambika comes out of Chidagni Kundam. At that time, all the Devas and the Devatas are overjoyed to have the divine darshan of Shri Lalitambika. So now the question comes, is it because Devi just came out of Chidagni that she is appearing as red in color? Because our Nama is Sarva Arunam. Arunam is red color. That reddish color of the Jyoti. Is it just because she came out of Chidagni Kundam? Well, here Devi is not in the Chidagni Kundam, but she has completely come out of Chidagni Kundam. And Vasinyadi Vak Devatas have also told us that Devi is walking towards us in Mandagamanam, Marali Mandagamana, one of the previous namas. And at that time, everybody is darshaning Devi. Devi is filled with great soundaryam, Mahalavanya Sevati. So, Vasinyadi Vak Devatas here are re-establishing the fact that it is not because of the Chidagni that she is red, but her form, her Nija Swaswarupam itself is red. And that's why they have put this Nama as Sarvaruna. That is why Vasinyadi Vak Devatas start the dhyanam. When we have to do dhyanam on Sri Lalitambika, how are we starting? Sindura Aruna Vigraham Trinayanam. Sindura Aruna Vigraham. Arunam itself is red color. There is one more prefix to it as Sindura Arunam, reddish red color. That is the way we do dhyanam, says Vasinyadi Vak Devatas. That red colored Aruna Vigraham is the Swaswarupam, Nija Swarupam of Sri Lalitambika that this Nama is worshipping as Sarvaruna. Now, we have so far worshipped all the namas from Keshadi Padam. So, first let's please recollect the various ways that Vasinyadi Vak Devatas have worshipped the Aruna Varnam in all the namas that we have recited so far. In the Keshadi Paadha Varnana, from head to toe, for example, the flowers adorned by Sri Lalitambika is red in color, Aruna Varnam. Champaka Ashoka Punnaka Saukantika Lasatkacha. Her flowers are red in color. Her forehead has Simanta Sinduram. Ambal is Nitya Sumangali. So Kunkuma in Simantam. Here That is also Aruna Varnam, red color, same as in our Nama. Her lips, how are her lips? Her lips are red in color. Nava Vidruma Bimba Shri Nyakari Radana Chada. Like that of the red bimba fruit, her lips are so red. The lips, okay. How is her mouth? Her mouth inside is also red, filled with Karpura Tambulam, Karpura Vitikamoda Samakarshi Diganthara. How is her cheeks? Cheeks is also red. How are the ornaments that she is wearing? The bangles, the haram, all the very beautiful anklets, everything has red precious stones. So her ornaments are also, Abharanam also has red color, Sarvaruna. Ambal is wearing a mala here. How is that mala? Mala also has red color. Her jankamam, this region, how is the jankama of the leg? What did Vasinyadi Vak Devatas say? They are red like Indragopas. Recollect the nama that we recited. Indragopa Parikshipta Smaradunapa Jankika. Her jankamam is also red. Her vastram, the sari that she is wearing, how is that? That is also deep red in color. Aruna Varnam, Sarvaruna. How is that? Arunaruna Kausumba Vastrapasvat Kati Thati. Kausumba flowers. Vasinyadi Vak Devatas explained to us a process where they take Kausumba flowers and do a color dye on that. They take the red color from Kausumba flowers. So her Vastram is also very, very red. Aruna Varnam. Now we are coming from head all the way here to the feet. How is Ambal's feet? Ambal's feet is also filled with Aruna Varnam, rosy red color. Ambal's feet also has Laksha Rasam, the mehendi that is adorned in her feet. That is also Arunam. Aruna Varnam. So Ambal's Vastram, Ambal's Abharanam, Ambal's Pushpam, Ambal's Farm, everything is Arunam, 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 Sarva Aruna. Now, the reason why Vasinyadi Vak Devatas are enjoying this Aruna Varnam throughout in very many namas from head to toe of Sri Lalitambika is that red is not just a color. Aruna Varnam here, Sarvaruna, is not just a red color. Aruna Varnam is an important aspect of Devi Upasana, and that is the reason why Vasinyadi Vak Devatas have introduced this nama here. And all the Devi Upasakars worship Sri Lalitambika in this Aruna Varnam. And one such great Devi Upasakar is Sri Abhirami Bhattar. Sri Abhirami Bhattar worships Devi, goddess Abhirami, using various Aruna Varnam as pramanams, even in his very first shloka in Abhirami Antadi. So let's go through the examples that he has where he meditates upon goddess Abhirami in the Aruna Varnam. Very first sloka in Abhirami Antadi, very first term he says is Udikindra Sankadar. Udikindra Sankadar means the rising sun's rays, if you will. The very pleasant morning, early morning sunrise color. That is the first way Abhirami Bhattar is doing Upasana on Abhirami, goddess Abhirami. The early morning sunrise color. Aruna, Arunam, Sarva Arunam. Aruna is the charioteer of Surya Bhagavan here. That Aruna Varnam, Udikindra Sankadar, the rays from the Aruna. That's the very first way of doing Upasana on this Aruna Varnam. Now, sun comes out when that Aruna Kanti, along with Aruna Kanti, when sun comes out, it is very pleasant. We all rush to go to the ocean to see the sunrise. Now imagine Udyadbhanu Sahasrapa. If for one sun that's rising from the ocean, we rush to the ocean to do the darshan of that sunrise, early morning sunrise, because it's so pleasant. Abhirami Bhattar thinks about Udyadbhanu Sahasrapa, thousands of suns rising together. How will it be? That's how Devi's darshan is. So, Vasinyadi Vak Devatas and Abhirami Bhattar are enjoying that Aruna Varnam to do Upasana on that pleasant form of goddess Abhirami. Then Abhirami Bhattar says, Uchi Tilakam. Tilakam. Uchi means on the top. On the top of her forehead, she has red color, it seems. That's the Upasana here. Devi has Tilakam in her forehead, Sinduram in his forehead. So between the two black regions of the hair, one side this side, one side this side, there's a streak of red color. It feels as if a pleasant sun rose exactly at the center of these two um, uh, partitions, and there's a very beautiful partition. It's as if it is the sun is rising here. Uchi Tilakam. Ambal is Nitya Sumangali. So Ambal always adorns Kunkuma in her Seemantam, Seemanta Sinduram. Ambal's Vasasthanam, that means the place of residence, is in the forehead region of Sumangalis. That's why all married women must definitely have Sinduram in their Seemantam. Ambal really loves it. That's the way to do Upasana here. Uchi Tilakam. That's the second Aruna Varnam that Abhirami Bhattar is worshipping. The third way our Abhirami Bhattar is worshipping is that உணர்வுடையோர் மதிக்கின்ற மாணிக்கம். Manikam is the Manikya gemstone. It feels like that's the Aruna Varnam, the color of that Manikya gemstone. That's the third way of worshipping Aruna Varna in this shloka. Then the fourth way of worshipping Aruna Varnam is in that Madulambu. Madulam is pomegranate, the color of pomegranate. That's the fourth way that Abhirami Bhattar is thinking about this Aruna Varnam. Next, it says Malar Kamalai. Kamala means lotus flower, and a blossomed red color lotus flower. That is also one of the ways to meditate. After that, Abhirami Bhattar says Kunkuma Toyam. Kunkuma is the kunkuma, the color of kumkum. How is the color of kumkum? Very deep red color. That's another way of doing upasana, says Abhirami Bhattar in this shloka, Kunkuma Toyam. In the shloka, Sri Bhattar concludes by saying, Yendan Virutunaye. That means, oh Abhirami, you who are in this various forms of Aruna Varnam, how as the Udikindra Sankada, the early morning sunrise, Uchi Tilakam, as who having the forehead filled with Simanta Sinduram, as Manikam, as the Manika gemstone, as Madulambu, as the pomegranate colored, as the Kamalam, as the red lotus, as the Kunkuma Toyam, the red color of Kunkuma. You who are in all of these various forms of Aruna Varnam, you are my sole refuge, says Abhirami Bhattar in this. As we can see throughout this shloka, Sri Bhattar has used the various Aruna Varnam to do the Upasana on Devi. There are, of course, deep tattvarthas for this shloka. Right now, we are focusing in taking the Aruna Varnam. So, we will confine to understanding those aspects of this shloka. Later, when we worship Kundalini Yogam and the namas related to that, we will recite this shloka and understand how Sri Bhattar is experiencing Devi by ascending up, going through the various chakras in this shloka. So this is how Devi Upasakars think about the Aruna Varnam to worship Devi. Then Bhashyam says her Aruna Kanti fills the entire universe. Ambal's Kanti is Aruna Varnam. Kanti is the rays that are emanating from her. That's also Aruna Varnam, Sarvaruna. From her Kanti shines Surya, Chandra, and Agni. How do we know? Let's recollect the Dhyana Shlokam. What does it say? Sindura Aruna Vigraham. Sindura Aruna Vigraham. Trinayanam. There are three eyes for Ambal. What are those three eyes? The eyes are Surya, Chandra, and Agni. So, Surya is a great source of Kanti. Chandra is a great source of pleasant Kanti. Agni is Jwalantam. Agni is also Kanti. So they all shine with Aruna Kanti, says this Dhyana Shlokam. Sindura Aruna Vigraham Trinayanam. Sun, moon, and Agni. Sun gives all the prakasham. Chandra is the Adi Devata for Manas. Agni. Wow, what do we use Agni for? For doing homam, for doing homam for lokakshemam. When we do homam for the welfare of everybody in the universe, Agni bestows all the Aishwaryams. That's why we do homam. So Ambal's Aruna Kanti is best. Aruna Kanti is filling the entire universe with her Trinayanam. This entire world lives very well because of Agni, the homam that we do with Agni. Chandra is the Adi Devata for Manas. If Manas is under control, everything is under control. Ambal's Kanti. Surya Prakasham. We need Surya Prakasham for everything in this universe for our very survival. So if we see Nijaruna Prabhapura Majjad Brahmanda Mandala with her Trinayanam, with her three eyes, Surya, Chandra, and Agni. Ambal fills the entire Brahmanda Mandalam with her rays, with her Aruna Varnam. So, Sarvaruna, everything in this universe is operated by Sun, Moon, and Agni. Hence, entire universe, entire Brahmanda Mandalam is Majjat, is immersed with her Aruna Kanti. Vedas also say Tam Agni Varnam Tapasa Jwalantim Agni Varnam. That's Tejomayam Agni Varnam. That's the color of this Aruna. So everywhere Ambal fills the universe with her red color Sarva Aruna. Now that is one way of interpreting this Nama Sarvaruna. Acharya very beautifully takes it to the next step and says that Arunam is the color of Ambal's Karuna. Jagatratum Shambor Jayati Karuna Kachi Daruna. So Aruna Varnam is Karuna Svarnam, the color of mercy. If we say Ambal is red color, that means she is that embodiment of mercy. Says very beautifully in Saundarya Lahari, Acharya beautifully states this concept that the Aruna Varnam is not just a color that we see outside, but everywhere we can see her Karuna innately in everything. We if we see that Aruna Varnam, that Karuna in everything around us, we will see Sri Lalitambika. That's the Tatparyam of this Nama, Sarvaruna. It's not just a color that we externally see, but it's Ambal's Karuna manifested everywhere. Can we see some examples of Ambal's Karuna? For example, as a mother, we feed our family. This is happening externally. But when a woman gets pregnant, when a baby is in the womb, who provides that mechanism for the nourishment of the baby? Who actually makes an umbilical cord? Who ever thought of it? Did science do that? Did anybody invent that? No. Devi is Sri Mata. She is the mother of all. So even before the baby is externally fed with a spoon, internally, when mom eats, it automatically goes to the baby and nourishes that baby. That's an example of Karuna. Wherever we cannot explicitly see, Devi as Sri Mata provides the way for the baby to be fed even while in mom's womb. Did anyone ask to set up a process like this? No. But what happened? Nature. Jayati Karuna Kachi Daruna. Nature, out of great Karuna, provides nourishment from mom to the baby. That is Aruna Varnam. As an example of Acharya says here, Jagatratum Shambor, whatever you see as Lord's creation, there, if you see Karuna in there, that automatically takes care of so many things so very beautifully. That Karuna is Sri Lalitambika as Sarvaruna. This is one example of Devi's Karuna. Another example, we can think about hundreds and thousands of examples like this. Here's another example. Nature. Think of trees. What does tree do? Out of great Karuna, trees provides us oxygen for us to breathe. What do we do to trees? How many times we go and even water the trees? We forget most of the time. But what does the tree do out of great Karuna? It takes out all the harmful effects from around and it gives fresh oxygen for us to breathe. It gives fresh photosynthesis by using sun rays. It gives us leaves, it gives us food, it gives us fruits, it gives us vegetables. Nature is just filled with karuna. So Acharya says, Jagatratum Sambor, wherever we see Shambho's creation, Jayati Karuna, let there be victory for that karuna. That karuna, kachit aruna. That is the Aruna Varnam, Sarvaruna. Not here, not here, not here alone, not here alone. Everywhere in the universe, that Aruna Varnam is the color of karuna. And why we have to realize this karuna concept? Because that Devi is Parabrahma Swarupini. When we say Parabrahma Swarupini, that Parabrahmam is beyond the description of words or thoughts, right? Parabrahmam, how can anybody describe Parabrahmam? Everybody is trying so much with so many shlokas, so many itihasas, so many Puranas, but everybody can only describe so much. It's beyond the description in words and thoughts. But now, out of Karuna, Acharya Mukar in Muka Panchashati says, out of great Karuna, that Parabrahmam has taken a form. Why it has taken a form? So we can darshan that Parabrahma Swarupini. And when we darshan, why do we darshan her? Why did the Parabrahmam take a form? So we can worship the Parabrahma Swarupini, and that out of great Karuna, that Sri Lalitambika, Sri Kamakshi is going to protect us from repeated cycles of birth. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Mananam, Maranam. We don't have to keep on taking repeated cycles. So out of great Karuna, the Parabrahma Swarupini has taken a form, says Acharya Mukar in this very first shloka in Arya Shataka. Acharya says, Karana Parachidrupa Kanchi Purasim Nikama Pita Gatha Kachana Viharati Karuna Kashmirastapaka Komalangalata. The Acharya says Ambal's form, how is Ambal's Shikanch Kamakshi's form? Acharya says Ambal's form is like Kashmira Stapakam. Kashmira Stapakam. Kashmiram means saffron. Stapakam means a bunch. So Kashmira Stapakam means a saffron bunch. Ambal looks like saffron bunch. That red color. Sarvaruna, right? Aruna Varnam. So the Parabrahma Swarupini, what did Ambal do? She took a form so we can worship her with four hands. In that Aruna Varnam, Kashmira Sthapakam. Why? Because Kachana Viharati Karuna. Kachana Viharati Karuna. Kachana means a Devi who is beyond words or thoughts. Viharati, she is porting in a very special place, in a very special Kshetram, out of Karuna. Kachana Viharati Karuna. Who is porting? Who has taken a form out of great Karuna for us to worship as Sri Kamakshi in Sri Kanchipuram. The same concept of Karuna is also reflected in Sri Rudram. Why Ambal has to take a form? Because Ambal is here to protect us in all the directions, says Sri Rudram. In this shloka, in Sri Rudram, Ambal is worshipped as having Asavya Tamra Aruna Babruhu. Tamra means that copper colored. Aruna means red color. So that red copper color, we can see that red copper color, Babruhu, with a slight tint of brown. That Tamra Aruna Babruhu, copper colored red mixed with brown shade. That color, Tamra Aruna Babruhu. That is that color, that Aruna Varnam is here to give Sumangalaha. Sumangalam means that is very auspicious. That color, Aruna Varnam, Sarvaruna, that red color, let it spread in all the directions and protect us and remove all the harm. So the Sri Rudram worships Ambal's red color as the color of Rudra that is here to protect us. Arunam. Aruna is the charioteer of Surya Bhagavan. So, when do we see the color changing in the sky, Arunam? Mainly in two parts of the day. One is from when the night happens, when the evening time today, and when the day is about to begin, right? Day to night. So, when there is a shift in from night to day and from day to night, we can see this Aruna Varnam in the sky. Early morning sunrise or evening sunset, we see Aruna Varnam. What happens when day becomes night and night becomes day? The next day comes, and then the next day comes, and then the morning comes, and then the evening comes, like this. That means the Kala Chakram is going one after another, after another, after another. The Kala Chakram is spinning, the time is spinning. So, Ambal, being in this Aruna Varnam, operates the entire Kala Chakram with that Aruna Varnam. Now, Sri Lalita Trishati also has this very same Nama, Sarvaruna. So we know that this Nama is not just a red color, but it is filled with great mantra viseshas and Sri Vidya Rahasyas. That's the significance of Sarvaruna. Hence, it is also worshipped in Sri Lalita Trishati. And the concept is that Aruna Varnam comes first in the sky. When Aruna Varnam, the deep reddish orange color, comes in the sky, that time we can only see the Aruna Varnam. At that time, Surya Bhagavan is avyaktam. That means it has not manifested yet. It is not visible yet. What we see is the sky filled with this orange red color, Aruna Varnam. But Aruna Varnam is an indication that sun is going to become Vyaktam. When we see the Aruna Varnam in the sky in the morning, we know that Surya Bhagavan is going to become Vyaktam. Surya Bhagavan is going to manifest. Similarly, Ambad is inside each and every one of us. Upasana of this Aruna Varnam will help us darshan that Parabrahma Swarupini. She will become Vyaktam. Just like the Aruna Varnam is an indication that Surya Bhagavan is there and manifests the Surya Bhagavan as Vyaktam, the Upasana of Aruna Varnam will help us darshan the Parabrahma Swarupini in the form of Aruna Varnam. So when a jiva understands the karuna of Sri Lalitambika in this Aruna Varnam, Jiva Brahma Aikyam happens. That is our life objective. And hence Aruna Varnam helps us to reach the Jiva Brahma Aikya state. That's this Nama Sarvaruna. As next steps with Acharya's blessings, let's review the next Nama in Sri Lalita Sahasranama. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Thank you so much, everyone.